Hey everybody, welcome to Paul Mash TV, bringing you the very best indie country from all over the world. And now, ladies and gentlemen, he is Paul.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Paul Mash TV. Paul Mash, and we got a great interview for you as always. And keep your letters and feedback coming. We love hearing from you. You can get that info at the closing credits at the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. Right now we have Mike Turner from Fairhope, Alabama, and he's a real great musician, and you'll see when a song comes up after the interview. So without further ado, here's Mike Turner on Paul Mash TV. Mike Turner from Fairhope, Alabama. Thanks for joining us, Mike.
Good to be with you, Paul. Thanks.
Well, we're always glad to have more musicians on the show, and we're glad that you were able to stop by. Let me ask you a question. I ask this question a lot because everyone has their own story, but why don't you tell us a little bit about why you became a musician and and just kind of let us know about that.
Well, I came to music pretty late. I grew up in a very musical family. Most of my family is originally from West Virginia, and so I grew up with a lot of country music, old-time mountain music, a lot of gospel music in the churches. But I personally never really did anything with that. Mm-hmm. When I was in high school, like a lot of guys my age, I picked up a guitar and messed around with it a little bit. But then I put it away, and for the next 30-odd years, I went to college, and I went off and had a career. And then I retired down here to Fairhope with my wife. And looking for things to do in retirement after I'd been here a couple of years, the local adult education program had a ukulele course. And so I signed up for this adult ed course and took ukulele. And within days, I just really got into not only playing the ukulele, but within the first week or so, I wrote my first song. And that was the very first song that I'd written. So that's been close to 6 years ago. I'm well over 100 songs that I've written now, probably about 30 of them so far that I've recorded. And that's just how I really started to get into it. It turned out to be something that I think is from my family history, but it took a lot of years for it to really come out in me.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good story there, Mike. Sorry. Let me ask you another question. What would you say some of your biggest influences are? I mean, I'm sure a few stand out in your mind.
Clearly, I've mentioned the family one. I've even got a couple of uncles that are in some fairly well-known gospel quartet groups. Mm-hmm. But beyond that, I grew up in Detroit. My family had left West Virginia before I was born and was living outside Detroit. So I had the family influences with gospel and country music. When I was growing up in the 60s and the 70s, Motown was huge in Detroit. People like Marvin Gaye and the Supremes and Smokey Robinson. So I got those kind of soul and R&B influences. And then through the years, I became really interested in traditional blues, like Mississippi Delta blues. Mm-hmm. So you kind of blend all those things together, and you wind up coming up with some of the music that I now write and perform. It's got blues influences, country influences, folk. I do write gospel, and I've been fortunate enough to win a couple of gospel awards. So all of those things have really come together. And when it comes to things like artists that have influenced me, we could spend the rest of the day talking about that. It runs from Hank Williams to Smokey Robinson to Marvin Gaye to B.B. King. It just goes on and on.
Oh, okay. Well, let me ask you something. I know you haven't been doing the music thing very long, as you had mentioned, but do you have any albums, or are you planning to come out with any albums?
Well, I'm planning to come out with an EP probably in July. What I did this year, starting in January, I started a project to do one record release a month. Record it, produce it, send it out to radio stations to play. And so I started that in January, and here now in June, sometime this week, I've got a little tweaking left to do on the recording. I'm going to release my June single, and so that'll be 6 radio singles that I've got out there that are getting a lot of play here and in Europe and in New Zealand. And so I'm going to put those together in an EP. All the recordings and everything are done. I just need to do the production to turn it into a 6-song EP. So that'll be coming out, I hope, next month.
Okay, well that'll be good. I think that's about all I can think of right now. But I just want to thank you again, Mike, for showing up on the show. And maybe one of these days, once that EP comes out, or for any other reason, if you'd like to come back on the show, I mean, we'd love to have you again.
Well, I appreciate that. I've had a good time here today. I would invite anybody that wants to follow my music to go to my website, www.miketurnersongwriter.com, and my Facebook music page, which is also Mike Turner Songwriter. That's where I put out announcements about the releases that I'm doing, new recordings that I'm working on, keep people up to date on what I'm doing musically.
Okay, well, we'll be looking forward to that. And before we end here, we always play a song, as you know. Why don't you tell us about the song that we're going to play here?
Well, the song we're going to play today is Another Lonely Night. This is the first single that I released in January. And when I wrote it, I was in a period where I was trying to write traditional country songs, love ballads. And so that's what this song is. But even from the title, Another Lonely Night, you can tell it's a little bit of a torch-type song, a little bit of a lost love-type song. Country influences, blues influences. I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out.
Okay, so that's Another Lonely Night, and we're going to be playing that right now. So here it is by Mike Turner. Don't go away.
Sun goes down, stars come out, full moon shining bright. When I close my eyes, I can see you standing by me in the light. But you are gone and dusk to dawn, I struggle to survive. Again I have to make it through another lonely night. Another lonely night. When we met, I thought you were the one. I felt it was so right. You were my fairy princess, and I was your shining knight. But you went away now, night and day. My heartache won't subside. And again I have to make it through another lonely night. What can I do, what can I say to have you here once more? My lonely nights would turn to day if you'd walk back through my door. But again I have to make it through another lonely night. Another lonely night. I give all I could ever gain to have you back again. Every night and day we were together made me a better man. But again I have to make it through another lonely night. Another lonely night. Another lonely night.